Hello, it's Ashley. So I'm going to be doing just a random reading. I just felt called to do one, so here I am. I already pulled from Energy Oracle. That's my favorite, and it was my first deck too. It helped me learn so much. And then I'm going to be using Nature's Whispers because I feel like they're just sometimes, usually they're just a little bit more like playful. And nature's just really calling to me recently, where I feel at home. I like to talk to the trees. I like to talk to animals. I've always really liked to do that, but I always like stop myself because I think people thought it was weird. But yeah, I like to talk to animals. I like to talk to trees, and I can hear them talk back to me. So it's not like I'm just talking to a tree. It's like I can feel the energy that it sends back to me. And so I guess that seems kind of odd, but just me, I guess. The whole point, I guess, is to just like be more vulnerable, and like honestly, my soul is like shouting for me to do this, and I keep like resisting. Just about being more open and like sharing my life with people and sharing who I truly am. And it just gets like I got to a point where it's just like I didn't. Okay, let me finish pulling these cards just a second. Because I pulled one of the cards that I pulled was all tied up. And I was definitely feeling like this. So, okay, let me pull some more here. Shoot. Dropping cards. I love all these cards coming with this deck. So for me, when I like pull cards, I just kind of highly recommend if you're like wanting to develop your intuition. This is kind of how I started. Like I said, the first deck that I ever had was the Energy Oracle cards, and I would just like that just helped me practice my like trusting myself and trusting what I was feeling. And so I would just pull one every morning. And at first, when I first started to do it, I didn't really know like how to do it. So like I'm very clairaudient, and so I can hear. I feel like I can hear better than I can like receive visions and stuff. But I would just hear like your cards on top, or your cards on bottom, or so I would just hear these things, and then now it's like to the point where I can just use my feelings, and sometimes I hear like that's your card, or it's mostly now I just like sense it, I can feel it, and so then I just go with that. Okay, one more. What can you tell us about this energy? Okay, perfect. All right. Okay, and so I really wanted to share a story that I went like on a canoe or a kayaking trip this weekend, and I love children, and I think that they're amazing, and they're just like the best thing ever. But I really feel the urge to like work with children and like the next generation, and I feel like the millennials, like our generation, like we need to set better examples for these children, because what I feel is that a lot of children that are younger, like they're like environmentalists, and they're change makers, and like they're free spirits, and they're very in tune with their feelings, very in tune with their emotions, especially younger boys. And I think it's just really important for us as the older generation to set better examples, especially with the internet. That's why a lot of people are making like YouTube channels and Instagramming a lot, and like but it has to be like authentic, and it has to be real, and it has to be like helpful for these children, so they have somebody to look up to. Because with the internet, like kids watch YouTube all the time. I thought that was really odd, but because I was like, I never, but YouTube wasn't around when we were children. If you think about the millennials, they were like the last generation to have a childhood without technology. And so I feel like technology, it really affects your childhood. You don't get out and play as much. You're not running around on the ground, like, so we need to incorporate that back into their lives and show them that, I don't know. Anyway, because one of the cards I just pulled, the last card I pulled was, I love this, maintain your childlike spirit. I'm good at that. I love being a child. I love playing. I love dancing. I love singing. I love being outdoors. I love, when I was on this kayaking trip, I love smushing my feet in the dirt and just playing and running around and looking at the trees and feeling the sand on my feet. I just like to play. And so anyway, while I was on this trip, this kid was with us, and I think he's maybe 5, 6, 7, around there. But he's the sweetest, cutest little boy. And I heard him say to his dad, this just melts my heart, but he was like, Dad, do you know what Jesus is? And he was like, no. And the kid was like, he's magic. And I was like, I went over to him and I was like, you're so right. That's the most accurate thing I've ever heard. Jesus is magic. I didn't tell him, but I should have told him that Jesus is just, and magic, what magic is just love. And so his dad had mentioned how he's like, oh, you seem to know a lot about God and Jesus without ever having read the Bible or gone to church or anything. And I said to him, I know a lot too, but I didn't grow up religious. I didn't grow up spiritual. I didn't really read the Bible. I did a little bit, probably last year. And some of the things, it's just different. It's not something, it's just it's other people's words. And so I just feel it in a different way than I've been told. I don't let my brain tell me what God is. I don't let my brain tell me what Jesus was or what they expect of us. They don't expect anything of us, God or Jesus. They don't, it's just, it's just about being who we are, accepting ourselves and loving ourselves and loving and accepting our humanness, because we are humans. And something that I'm beginning to really realize is that I'm a spiritual being having a human experience, not the other way around. And so I enjoy my human senses, and that's the whole point, is to, we come here to feel, we put feeling to emotions. And so, and so it's just important to use your senses, touch and taste and hearing is my favorite sense besides taste. I love food. I've always loved food. And so anyway, I just wanted to share that because I thought it was perfect that he said that. And this child, he's also very he's teaching his parents a lot. It's funny because we need to allow this next generation to kind of teach us how to take, they want to take care of the planet, because that's the most important thing. If we want to keep coming here and as humans, we have to have a place, we have to have an earth, and we're just not taking very good care of it right now. To me, I see that the only reason we're not taking very good care of the earth is because we're not taking very good care of ourselves. If we gave a shit about ourselves, it would give a shit about the planet. And but a lot of us don't. And so you can see that our climate is changing, just a lot of stuff with the weather is going on. It's just we affect the weather. We are the same. We are nature. And so if you sense, I know there was earthquake somewhere, this, it's pressure. It feels like a pressure cooker. And I feel that right now. And that's with this all tied up card that I pulled. I was feeling this energy of feeling trapped and constricted and needing, it was maddening, but it was almost I feel the divine masculine is awakening within. And so it's his, it's not really, it's just an energy. So it's action and creation. And so it's if you don't know how to use your creation energy, or if it's if you don't know, if you just don't know a lot about what your creation energy is, a lot of it's been distorted, and we think that it's this sexual energy that we're feeling. We want to have lots of sex. I feel that's coming up, I feel it too. I can feel it. But I know now that it's not sexual, it's creation. And that's what the divine masculine energy is about. And so it's it feels you want to move. That's what it feels because it's very action, but it's also about incorporating, so I had to really rest, and I spent the last week camping. camping is something I love doing, especially as a child. Like, I spent time with my dad. We went kayaking, like, had a fire. I floated in the water, like, watched movies. Like, that's just a time for me to, like, chill and, like, incorporate my feminine energy and rest, because I could really feel the energy and I could really feel it, like, shifting, and just my body felt really different. And so I've also been having, like, I've been releasing a lot. I was crying last night, just in, like, little increments. Like, I would have these, like, pains in my heart chakra. I could feel, like, it tightening, and I could feel it, like, stabbing almost, kind of is what it felt like. And I would cry, and then I could feel it, like, pulsating, and, like, so it's like I can feel it, like I'm purging out old energy. And, like, part of, like, that sexual energy that we're feeling is, like, it's creation. And so it's about being creative, and, like, a lot is coming up with that, I feel like, with the creation energy, and it, like, being distorted. And I feel like a lot is coming up, especially for men. For some reason, I just feel like men, I don't know, I feel like we need more women advocating for men. I feel like we need more, we need more men for men. Men don't really have, like, an outlet, or, someone that they feel safe to come to and talk. And, like, I feel this energy of this masculine, just, like, everything, they keep everything inside, and then it's about ready to just bust. It's going to explode. And it's just like, letting it out in little ways will make a huge difference. If you can find somebody to talk to, like, if you're feeling, like I said, when I felt this energy and, like, this pain in my chest and stuff, like, I was feeling very, like, it was, like, maddening. That's what the energy feels like, maddening. I feel like for men, they might feel like they're going crazy, like, maybe, like, schizophrenia, or, like, I feel like they're hearing their guidance, and it's really hard for them to incorporate this, like, very, like, spiritual, feminine energy, that, like, because we're just moving into a new era. We're moving, and, like I said, with the millennials, like, we really should have evolved when technology came into play, but we didn't. So we're just kind of stuck here, and we're stuck in this terrible, like, it's just, like, a lot. Here's another card I pulled. This is the first card I pulled. Deceit. That's what is coming up, and I just feel like it's deceit, like, people not being who they truly are, pretending to be something they're not. And what also came up was the contract card in reverse. So I feel like this is things are, like, falling apart, and this contract is, like, it could be legal issues, like with a partner. I feel like a lot of, like, we're just shifting, and so some people might be ready to evolve, and some people might not be ready, and so you might start to feel trapped or all tied up, like that card. And I feel like with this spread, so I got deceit, contract in reverse, all tied up, and then at the end, the last one I pulled from this deck was the Healer of the Ages in reverse. So I feel like whatever is going on with this deceit, with this contract, like, even if you're, like, if you're in a relationship but you're not married, like, if things seem to be falling apart, like, I feel like what you're supposed to do, or that what the next move you're supposed to make is, but you're feeling all tied up. And I feel like it's just, like, you're too much in your head. And that's why this maintain your childlike support, or maintain your childlike spirit, came up. I just love this card. And she's swinging. I love to swing. That's another thing I was doing when I was camping, is I love to swing. It makes me feel like I'm flying. I love that. And I love to watch birds. So anyway, I feel like, there's a lot of deceit is going on the internet. Try to share. I feel like, okay, so addictions are going to be coming up with this energy too. And one thing that we're addicted to that we probably don't even realize is we're addicted to our phones, to social media. And so many people are on social media. But it's important to share things that are, like, positive and uplifting, and keep it light, and keep it, like, don't pretend to be something you're not. If you're not, then just try not to contribute to, like, the hate, or to, like, the judgment, or to, like, I've noticed a lot of, like, abuse. Like, I see, like, people posting pictures of these men that have abused women, or I see, like, all these posters of these missing women, and it's like, let's try not to take this stuff that kind of, like, scares us and put it into, because what we're doing is we're moving into a virtual reality. Like, most of us spend more time on our internet, and that's awesome. We can connect with people that aren't close to us, and we can connect to our soul family. That's what the internet was created, was for us to reach our soul family from like distance, and that's awesome because we can put our content out there, we can attract the people that we want in our lives, and we can be informative, we can teach, we can like so like what we need to be doing is selling our creations. And so that's when we become more balanced, especially as a country as a whole, is when we begin to sell our creations and we begin to earn a living off that instead of like breaking your back to earn a buck and like working at this job that you hate because you think you just have to make money. Like, I'm sorry, but it's just like I'm not going to waste my life doing that. I'm not going to waste my precious moments that I have here just so I can afford to live here. Like, that might seem crazy to other people, and that might seem unrealistic, especially to the older generation. Like, it's going to be harder for the older generation to understand, and I just don't care. Like, I'm just doing this for my own mental health, my own emotional health. This is what I came here to do, so this is what I'm doing. Does it make sense all the time to me? No, not really. But here I am. And so I just feel like be careful with like the negativity and like just be authentic. And if you can't be authentic yet on social media, I had to like completely go like MIA from social media. And it was hard at first. Like I would still like kind of creep onto Facebook every once in a while. But what I do is I delete the app off my phone and I just use like the internet to go to Facebook. That way I'm not constantly on it. Right now I am feeling the need to constantly be on it because I'm trying to put as much like positivity, as much like knowledge, as much wisdom out there as possible, just because I feel like people need it right now. And I'm just feeling the urge to use my abilities and use my gifts and my creations to create something for myself. We all have to start somewhere, right? This is something that I enjoy doing, and I think it can be very helpful. So that's why I do it. And so the other cards that I pulled from the Nature's Whispers they're really good. This one, Empowerment. Can't really see it. Empowerment with Illumination. Beautiful. I love this card. Look at that big moon. Beautiful. And then Show Your Support. Sorry, that's really hard to read. There. Show your support. So I just feel like this energy is like really like it wants us to do something different. It's easy to stay stuck. It's easy to stay comfortable. It's easy to pretend or to lie to yourself. And that comes in little ways. Like you can really lie to yourself in ways that you think that you're not, I have to do this too, like it's hard to be like really honest with yourself and realize that like you're the only person holding yourself back. You're the only person that's stopping you from pursuing your dreams. Like you're the only person. Nobody else is stopping you from that. And you can blame people. You can be angry at them. You can choose to like use them as an excuse to not do what you feel in your heart to be right. And I kind of just got to the point like my soul was just like, so for me, it's like, I am so much more comfortable, like, not being seen, not being heard. I'd rather just, like, hide under a rock. That's just totally me. Like, I would rather just be alone. I'm really good at being alone. I've always been, like, alone. I've always been very independent. I've always, like, that's just who I am. I'm good. I got being alone down to a T, But it's like, my soul is like, no. Like, I want to meet my family. And so it's like, okay. Like I said. And so it's just about like learning to step into your power and like saying goodbye to things that aren't serving you anymore. And that's not always easy. So it's like you have to be super gentle with yourself. You can't just push yourself. And that's what I was feeling like. Sometimes like I'm a real go-getter and like I self-sabotage a lot because I learn really quickly and like I know that like I can teach myself really quickly. Like I taught myself how to heal emotionally, energetically, subconsciously. I did all that, like that was last year. It felt like last year I was like a student, I was in school. And right now it feels like I'm like a student teacher. So I'm still like in between. And it's like I'm still like receiving guidance and still trying to like grow and do what I need to do and like teaching myself how to do this. But what I mean by do this is like create something for myself so that I can create and earn a living. And that's really what this whole paradigm shift is about, is like, well, one, relationships are being upgraded, you know? So like I said, even if it's friendships, you know, like some friends might be ready to evolve and some might not be able to. And like, you just have to like appreciate that time and like say thank you and express how much you love them and how much they meant to you for this time of your life, but it's time to go. I do feel this sense of like, for me anyway, that's like, I'm getting ready to like say goodbye. It's the honest thing, but I feel like it's just like me saying goodbye to like my old life and embracing my new life and being confident. And like, I feel really good. Like, I feel good about myself. I love what I'm doing. And I love to talk. And so that's another reason, like, it was important for me to like make videos and just kind of like express my thoughts, because I keep a lot like inside and I'm really good at like talking to myself. And like that doesn't make me crazy. Like, I always thought like talking to myself made me crazy, but we always have like an inner dialogue going on within our heads all the time. And I just had to change that, and that's how I changed my life. Really, was just like changing that inner dialogue, and I learned how to talk to myself differently. It wasn't always easy. Like, I still had those thoughts creep up, and I mean, they don't come up as much anymore because I kind of have my ego like under control, but I can still sense like the fear. Like, I didn't want to make videos, honestly. I did not want to do it. I was guided to do it probably like back in March, and I just didn't because I was too scared. I didn't like think I could do it. I didn't think the information I had to offer was valuable, and some people might not think it is, and that's cool. It's not for you then. But I know that this will resonate with whoever it's meant to resonate with, and it's not my job to make people like listen to me. It's not my responsibility to like make people understand me, or because people aren't going to be able to understand this, and it's not my job to make them understand, and that's okay. You know, I can still love people if they're ready to hear this or not, you know, and we're just like shifting and changing. So these are the two cards that were under the deck. Patience in reverse. So this is like a peaceful redirection is what it says in the book, and that just makes sense. That feels right. And then under this deck was trust your own understanding. So this is totally just about like being your own guide. With the peaceful redirection, I just feel like it's about like listening to your soul and what does it want. And like the more we try to like resist what our soul wants us to do, the more it'll like the little whisper will become a roar. It's like you won't be able to stop. That's what I felt like. But I just got to the point where I was like, I can't live like this anymore. Like, I can't keep myself locked away. I can't keep myself quiet, you know. A lot of people I've always been like a very like blunt person. Even in high school, I was just very blunt. Like, I'd always kind of just say what everybody else was feeling but wouldn't say. And everybody always thought it was funny. And I was like, okay. Like, people would just laugh. And I guess it was probably just because I was being truthful. And I guess I didn't really realize it at the time. But so I just feel like the maintain your childlike spirit is just really calling to me. I love that because I feel like that's just really important. If you think about it, like, and like I said, like with the millennial generation, like if you think about your childhood, like try to recreate your childhood, but now. And one thing that I've really noticed, okay, so I'm from Iowa though, so it's like I really like country music. I'm sure people all over like country music, but the country music like that's on the radio now, like it reminds me a lot of 90s country, but like in a different way. It's like because there's like a lot of men that have like I just love their music, and like they just sing about love, and like, you know, that's just I'm all about like the 90s country, and like Faith Hill, Shania Twain, like Tim McGraw, like those things, you know, those people. And like you just I just feel like it just reminds me a lot of 90s country. And so I think that's fun. It's fun to listen to. I like to dance to a lot of that music, and like I don't dance like a professional, but I like to like jump around, wave my hands in the air, and I also like to, when I do yoga, I like to incorporate like a little bit of dancing and moving. It's because movement is so good, like movement, and like the music on the radio like today makes me like the country music makes me want to move, and I love that. I could just like dance in my car all day long. My nephew, he loves to dance too. So like, and learn from your children, like play with them, like get down to their level, and it's just like when you can do that and you can maintain your childlike spirit, like that's when you start to live in the moment, because children don't have any concept of time. They don't know what yesterday was or what 11 o'clock is, you know, like they just live in the moment. They don't like, time is just a human like construct that we've created to keep like order. And I feel like a lot of people are feeling powerless like to situations that they're in, but I think that it's like it's all mental, like, and that's why like the healer of the ages in reverse. I'm gonna read that actually really quick. Okay. So, this is the healer of their ages in reverse from the book. When reversed, the healer of the ages indicates that you have been feeling extremely out of sorts or even upside down in your own life. You may be in the midst of some physical problem or just feeling as though you're losing energy, but this card is telling you that there are deeper levels of healing that need to be addressed. Take some time to regroup and put your own healing first. Whether you're facing mental, emotional, physical, or even addictive patterns, call upon the healer of the ages to bring his energy to the issues you are working on. Quiet your mind and feel his vibration, bringing you warmth and healing light, clearing away any dark or hurting space. Repeat this meditation and be patient. Patient. Yet also know that the divine love can heal you in a blink of a belief. Oh, I love that. That was perfect. Like I said, I do feel like this energy is amping up addictions. And really it's just like to distract ourselves from like addressing our problems and addressing, you know, and like we can watch a lot of TV, like a lot of reality TV, it like makes you see, oh, like their life is terrible. I don't have to fix mine because mine's not that bad, you know, like, no, it's not how it works, you know, like it's important to like take your power back, empowerment, and like own your life. And I feel like, I don't know, I just like, I'm looking at these cards just a second. There is an eclipse coming on, oh, I'm really not sure, sometime this month. I don't know if it's like a full moon eclipse. I think so. Anyway, I'm not for sure. But I just feel like this energy is just bringing a lot of stuff to the light for us to like clear away. And we can either continue to lie to ourselves about it, or we can step into our power and like face these lies and say, this isn't who I am, this isn't what I want. And then you have to say, okay, what can I do differently? And for me, it's like, I have to ask myself those questions every day, because it feels like, it seems to my mind and it seems to my ego that I don't know what I'm doing, that I have no idea what I'm doing. Like I feel completely lost, you know? But in my soul, I know it's right. And I know that like I have a plan, and I know that I came here to do this. And so I obviously have the knowledge, and I have the wisdom, and I have the power, and I have everything I need, because otherwise I wouldn't be in this position right now, you know, to do what I need to do, to teach myself these things. And once we become like teachers for ourselves, you know, like, and I've talked about like younger generation, like, and we need to set better examples, especially as our generation and us being on the internet all the time. And I'm all for the internet. I'm all for technology. I think it's awesome. Like, technology is never going to go away, but we have to learn how to cope with it. And we do that by learning how to deal with our emotions. We do that by learning how to change our beliefs and not let people try to tell us how, like people, like that's the greatest thing about social media, is that like it's a platform. It's a place for you to express yourself and share your opinions. But if you don't agree, then that's okay. You don't have to agree with everybody. But like, if you like see something and it makes like, recognize how you feel after you see something. Does it trigger you? Does it make you feel like you're not good enough? how do you feel after you read a certain post? Like, and what I mean by trigger is like, oh, that's like totally not me, or I can't believe people are like that, like what do you feel after you read a certain message? That just indicates a lot about what you need to heal on the inside. And you see that like on social media, like I said, I had to just cut it all off because I couldn't deal with it. Like nothing made any sense. Like that's what I feel like a lot of people are feeling right now is nothing makes any sense. And it can be maddening. Like our ego will want to flare up and try to figure everything out, and that just leaves you feeling drained and exhausted. I know because I let it happen to me sometimes, and like I feel so like excited about my future, and I feel so excited about like everything, but then sometimes I start to get overwhelmed. And then when I get overwhelmed, I just don't do anything at all. And like I said, I didn't make videos for a really long time because I had a lot of fear around like success, and I had a lot of fear around abundance and prosperity. And so I know this is what I came here to do, to like support myself. And so and with this show your support, I just feel like that's like this one always like it's really hard to see, I'm sorry. But it's like supporting like people's creations, supporting like only investing in things that are going to make your life better or are going to add value to your life. Just like I follow the minimalist. I believe in a minimalist lifestyle. And so they always talk about like only bringing things into your life, even into your homes, only things that bring value into your life, like certain artwork, like support people's artwork. Like, so you have something unique in your house instead of going to Home Goods and buying the same thing that somebody else probably has in their home. Like, that's how we're going to like shift everything, is when we start to like invest in people's creations and not investing in things that are terrible for us, or, like advertising. That's why I kind of want to blow up social media and like sell my own stuff, like selling meditation, selling emotional healing, energy healing, just things that are going to make people's lives better. That's what we should be advertising. But right now we're advertising things for like McDonald's, but they use, when you look at an advertisement for like, let's say McDonald's, they either usually use like sex to sell it, or they use it's like a misrepresentation of the truth. So like you can tell even by like their products that they sell, they look way different on the TV than they do in real life. You get it and you're like, ugh, and like the food is terrible for you. We advertise it all the time. Everybody knows where McDonald's is. Nobody is going to stop going to McDonald's, but it's just a way for them to make lots of money. And I don't have the exact number, but I know we spend like billions of dollars on advertising a year. And that just blows my mind, because we can spend $40 billion on advertising shit for people, but we can't like feed the hungry or end homelessness, or, like it just doesn't make any sense. Like we've got to do something different in this country for real. And that's another thing that I want to speak about. Like, but it's like, I don't want to be like, I have lots of fears of like being killed for speaking about like, equality and like world peace. And I feel like that's probably just because of our history, and people have been killed for speaking up about those things, and these things matter. Like, and we're at a time in history where we need to be speaking about these things, because there needs to be change. And if we don't change, like back to the children, our children of this country, like I see us as a whole, and I see everybody in this country as a child. Because I see through the eyes of God. That's what I wanted to be able to do. So I asked him to be able to do that. And to be able to do that, I had to see myself through the eyes of love. And so I just see every human being as a child. And our children in this country are killing other children. Like, you're more likely to die at school than you are in war. And that just doesn't not make any sense to me. Like school and education is becoming more dangerous than like fighting for our country, which that's a whole nother subject. I think that war is ridiculous, and it trains men and women to be really cold. And I don't believe that any human ever wants to kill another human just to protect their country. I think that's absurd. I think it's delusional. And I think it's just something we've been made to believe for a really long time. I don't like have any disrespect for like troops or anybody that feels the need to like protect our country, but honestly, do you feel any safer with us having an army than you? I mean, I don't feel any safer. Like it doesn't make it feels like it doesn't like this country is still filled with hate. It's still filled with rage and anger and resentment. And this stems from our past. It stems from our history. And what we need to do is integrate that history. And it doesn't come by fighting people. It doesn't come by like killing other people. These children aren't feeling seen. They aren't feeling heard. One way that is going to destroy children for the next generation if millennials don't kind of like get their shit together is we spend so much time on our phones. There are parents that neglect their children because they're checking Facebook. Think about how it makes your child feel that you would rather check your phone than pay attention to them or listen to what they have to say. We have these people that think, oh, children don't listen. They just don't listen. Children don't listen because they're taught not how to listen by the parents. Like, I've seen parents that just like, they don't even hear their child when they're talking to them. Like, they'll call out their name multiple times and it's like the parent doesn't even hear them. Does that make you a bad parent? No, but it's affecting your child's psyche, and it makes them feel not seen. It makes them feel not heard. And when children go to school and they're feeling the same way, maybe by children that are bullying them, they don't feel seen, they don't feel heard. And so they use a gun to make them feel powerful because guns are associated with power. And they're feeling emotionally distraught. They're not feeling seen. They're not feeling heard. They think, oh, maybe if I just have a gun, maybe somebody will listen to me. Maybe if I scare somebody. And that's the whole problem is like parenting. A lot of parents have taken the style, and this is archaic. Oh, it's so archaic. Using physical like power and strength and like demeaning, condescending words to your child does not make them listen to you. It just does not make them listen to you. You can talk to them like they're stupid all you want, but it's not going to make them listen to you. Listening comes when you listen to your child. When they come to you and they want to tell you this story that's crazy that they just came up with their imagination, you sit there and you listen to them and you're like, oh yeah, that's really cool. I do this with my nephew because he's always telling me stories and I want him to use his imagination. I feel like that's something we lack, and we grow up and we're told like, just like that child who said, Jesus is magic. Like that makes me want to cry because it's so perfect. Like Jesus is magic, and his energy is with us right now, and he loves you so much. He's great. I just feel his energy with me very, very closely. And so just know that he's with you and that, things are going to look terrible, especially in our world. They're going to look terrible. And I feel like that's the whole point is like, it's going to seem like to our minds and what we're going to see. Like, it's very important to protect what you see. It's very important to protect what you hear. Because like I said, it's in our minds where our beliefs are formed. And if we see certain things and we hear certain things, they form our beliefs because it's in our subconscious, and subconscious is where we form our beliefs and our habits. And so, it's just about like learning to listen to that inner voice. And like I said, using like the oracle cards and stuff like that really helps develop your intuition, meditation, playing, just like getting outside. Like that's what I said, like bring the 90s back. Let's bring the 90s back, millennials. Come on. It was awesome. Like I remember playing outside, like just running around barefoot. I could run around barefoot all day long. Like climbing trees and just listening to music. And like, I just remember being outside, like playing with my brother, making up little villages and like, okay, we probably can't really do that, but it's fun to do that with little kids. I like to do it with my nephews too. I like to play pretend with him, and honestly, like on that trip, I had made a post of like, I wrote like some poetry and it did start to rain and it was like super cold. It wasn't that cold actually. So it was just like, we were so used to it being warm, but like it started, it's all mental. And so you start to think that you're really cold and then like you can really talk yourself into it. And I just tried to pretend the whole time that like the rain I was feeling was actually just sunshine. And so I was just like, oh, I feel so warm. I just kept telling myself that I felt warm. And so like it's about using your imagination to create. That sounds nuts, but it's like I said, we affect our weather, and we affect like the natural disasters on our planet. We've had a lot recently over the last like couple years, like floods and fires, and like it's because of us. Like these things aren't just happening to us for some terrible reason. Like we're creating this. We're creating this chaos. We're creating this hate that's flooding through the world. Like I said, with social media, people not being authentic, people lying, people not being who they truly are, deception, and so I feel like if you do feel all tied up, or you just feel like maddening, that's what the word I hear, maddening, like in your mind, like you think you're crazy or something. You're not crazy, I promise. We're just ascending, and so like we're being upgraded, and so like we have to upgrade our bodies because we have technology now, and so to move with technology, we're kind of being upgraded. And so the like 3D will just start to feel really heavy, and you'll see it like play out even already like on the news, and you'll see people like starting to take their power back, like women. I saw that post about Beyonce, and I just thought that was awesome because she's always been really fierce and like empowering, and we need more women like and even more men like stepping into their power. But like I said, I feel like it's a lot harder for men. I feel like men feel like they're crazy right now. So if you're a man and you're watching this and you feel like you're losing your mind, you probably are. You're just finding your heart though. And then it'll start to balance out. Like once you like I said, let this energy kind of like fluctuate, let it move through your body, and just try to have fun right now. Just try to like do anything you can to have fun. Like if you like to sing, if you like to dance, like even if you have to do this in your private home, if you're not willing to do it in front of people yet, like or just whatever you love to do, whatever brings you joy. If you like to write, I like to write. I like to write about nature. I like to write about God. Those are things I like to write about. If you like to write music, just create. Use this energy that you think is sexual energy that might be maddening you. Use it to create something. Because eventually you'll be able to make an income with your creations. And I feel like for women, it's more about like, I don't know, for women, it might be too like taking their power back. Like, I don't know. I just feel like keeping a journal is very important. Writing things down, making videos if you want. I had to like really prepare myself for that. And like, the more I do it, the more I feel comfortable. And really the less I just give a shit about what anybody has to say or what they think, If you're going to watch this, cool. If you're not, that's cool too. Like my content isn't going to be for everybody. And like, that was really hard for me to realize at first, like not everybody's going to like what I have to say. Not everybody's going to like what I have to create, but I can't worry about that because there are going to be people that are going to love it. Sorry, I probably talk a lot. I probably talk really fast. And I'm really trying to work on using my voice. Just because, like I said, I keep a lot inside. And I feel like the point is to like communicate. Communicate what you're feeling. And so I'll be posting, I think I'm going to post like the meditation and some like yoga moves that I do. Just because I feel like it might be helpful, and it really helps me. Like I like to do it in the morning or like at the beginning of the day. It helps me feel really grounded. So get out in nature, go swimming, maybe take a vacation. I mean, just do what you got to do to like stay light and stay positive and get into your body and out of your mind. I go jogging too, and that really helps me use that like action energy. And it also like I have so many good ideas after I get done with a jog because it brings me back into my body and my mind clears, and like I just feel really good, and I'm like, yes, I feel fired up. I want to do this and I want to do that and I want to do that. So just like know when it's just listen to your body and when it's telling you to slow down, when it's telling you to take action. Just try to listen to your intuition as much as possible because it's really guiding us through this time that doesn't make sense to our minds. And that's just really what like ascension is about. And it's about doing something different. Like you might start to feel stuck. Like, that's how I felt when I first began to awaken. It's like, I just cannot live this way anymore. That's what it felt like. I was just like, I feel so uncomfortable in my own body. I feel so uncomfortable in my, like, in who I am. Like, this isn't who I am. And I just felt trapped. And so I totally understand the feeling. Um, so if that's something you're going through, just be gentle with yourself, love yourself, take good care of yourself, um, and just know you're not crazy. So I hope that this is helpful. And like I said, I'll be posting more videos. So I hope you have a wonderful day.